In this video, we're going to take a look at the equation of a circle. First, we're going to plot the point A, 4, 3. Next, determine the distance from the origin to the point A. So remember, the origin, which we sometimes call O, has the coordinates 0, 0. So if I want the distance from O to A, I'm going to take the square root of delta x squared plus delta y squared. And when I do that, if I take the delta x, that's 4 minus 0 squared, plus the delta y is 3 minus 0 squared. So next we end up with 4 squared plus 3 squared. Adding those squares together gives us 25, and the square root of 25 is 5. So that is the distance from O, the origin, to point A, 4 and 3. Now tell me, what other points will give a distance of 5 units from the origin? Pause this video, find as many as you can, and then come back and check your work. So here are some other points that will be 5 units away. We can do 3 and 4. If we do 3 squared plus 4 squared, square root that, we're going to get a length of 5. We can do 0 and 5. That's 5 units away. We can then go to negative 3 and 4. That's going to be negative 3 squared plus 4 squared, which again is 25, and the square root of 25 is 5. We can do negative 4 and 3. We can do negative 5 and 0. We can also take the point negative 4 and negative 3. Negative 3 and negative 4. 0, negative 5. 3, negative 4. 4, negative 3. 5 and 0. So there are several points that are 5 units away from the origin. If we connect these points, hopefully you see we end up with a circle that has a radius of 5. All these points are 5 units away from the origin. We see that a circle is a set of all points in the xy plane that are all the same distance from a fixed point. And we call the fixed point the origin. The distance from any point on the circle to the center is called our radius. So if we go back to our diagram, our radius is right here. From the origin to any point on the circle. If you have a point on the circle, we can find the radius by square rooting x squared plus y squared. That is just Pythagorean's theorem. If we go back to our diagram again, why does that work? If we were to draw a right triangle from that point there, this distance here would be x, this distance here will be y, and from the right triangle we see that x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. And if we square root that, we get r equals the square root of x squared plus y squared. For this course, the center of the circles that we're dealing with are all going to be at 0, 0. And if we want an equation of a circle, it again is just Pythagorean's theorem. X squared plus y squared equals r squared is the equation of a circle with center 0, 0 and radius r. So again, if you look here to the left, there is a point on the circle. We have x squared plus y squared equals r squared. Let's look at some examples to help clarify what we are talking about. So let's start with the first one. Write the equation of a circle with center 0, 0. So as soon as we see that, we know it's going to be x squared plus y squared equals r squared. And we're given that the radius is 11. So where I see the value r, I'm going to replace it with the number 11. So now I end up with x squared plus y squared equals 11 squared, which tells us that x squared plus y squared equals 121. So this is the equation of a circle with center 0, 0 and radius of 11. If you were to type this equation into graphing software, it would give you a circle with center 0, 0 and a radius of 11 units. For part B, let's find the equation of a circle with center 0, 0 and radius of 1/3 units. So we're going to get x squared plus y squared equals r squared, but we know the radius is 1/3, so we're going to square that. Remember that 1/3 squared is the same as 1/3 times 1/3. So we end up with x squared plus y squared. 1 times 1 is 1, and 3 times 3 is 9. So our equation is x squared plus y squared equals 1/9, which is the equation of a circle with center 0, 0 and a radius of 1/3 units. Example 2. Sketch the graph of a circle defined by the following equation. X squared plus y squared equals 36. Remember at the top we said that x squared plus y squared equals the radius squared. So that 36 is the radius squared. So if I want the radius, I'm going to square root both sides, and this tells me that the radius of this circle is 6. That means the distance from the center to the edge of the circle is 6 units. So if I want to sketch the graph, I know I'm going to start at the center, count 6 units out, and that would be a point on that circle. And notice, with the radius of 6, we know the 4 intercepts. We know that 6 and 0 is an intercept, 0 and 6, -6 and 0, and 0, -6 is your 4th intercept. Connecting those together gives us the graph of this circle. Remember, the radius is 6 units from the center. And notice our center is 0, 0. Next example. A circle has center 0, 0, but this time it passes through the point 5 and 7. So let's graph that point. 5 and 7. That's the radius going from the origin to the point 5 and 7. And now I want to know the equation of this circle. To find the equation of the circle, we start off with the same formula. X squared plus y squared equals r squared. We don't know the radius squared, but given the point, we can sub that in for x and y. So there's our x, there's our y. And we can determine the radius squared by subbing these values in. So where I see an x, I put 5. Where I see a y, I put 7. And that equals r squared. 5 squared is 25, plus the 49 equals the radius squared. Adding these two numbers together gives us 74. So the radius here is the square root of 74, but the radius squared is 74. And remember, for our equation, it's x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So this is the equation of the circle that passes through the point 5 and 7. If you want to know the radius, the square root of 74 is approximately equal to 8.6. So somewhere around here is where it crosses the y-axis. Everywhere around 8.6, -8.6, -8.6, and +8.6 here. So part B, it's easier to find other points on the circle. And as long as they're combinations of 5 and 7, you will have other points. So of course we can have 7 and 5. The square of 7 plus the square of 5 is 74. So let's do that one. That would be 7 and 5. There would be a point on the circle. I could do 5 and -7, or 7 and -5. That would be these points here. So here's 7 and -5. And here is 5 and -7. I could also take -5, -7, and -7, -5. That would be these points here. So -5, -7. -7, -5 is here. And notice I'm starting to create a circle again. So -7 and 5, and we can do -5 and 7. That would be these points here. So -5 and 7, and -7 and 5. There it is there. So this will help us draw our circle. And there you go. There is the equation of a circle with radius square root of 74. And here are 7 other points on that circle. It only asks for 2, but any combination of 5 and 7, positive, negative, will give us a point on the circle. All right, last example. A stone is dropped into a pond and sets out circular ripples whose radius increased by 5 centimeters per second. I want to know the equation of the circle 6 seconds after the stone is dropped. Remember, the equation of a circle is x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So these ripples are going out 5 centimeters per second in this direction. So every one of those are 5 centimeters apart. But we want to know what it looks like 6 seconds later. How large does that circle get after 6 seconds? So if we look at that closely, we have 5 centimeters per second. That means 6 seconds later, if I times the two, times 6 seconds, that's going to be a circle whose radius is 30 centimeters. So if the radius is 30 centimeters, then we have x squared plus y squared equals 30 squared. And 30 squared is equal to 900. So the equation of this circle is x squared plus y squared equals 900. Here are a few questions you can try. And if you have any questions, please contact me.